Okay, hi Midwest region, it's Liz here up in Wisconsin. I'm just going to do a real quick demonstration for you on doing a Thora repair to the bag and how our tubing set can be hooked up incorrectly and what happens because of that. So on the tubing set that you have here, it's pretty crystal clear that only the syringe can fit on this end of the Y piece. So that is here. So that part is not confusing to clinicians. The short end is supposed to go to the catheter, but I'm going to show you what happens if you put the short end. As you can see in air, if you want to get a close-up of this, both of these ends are exactly the same and they have valve tubing. So these two ends can be misdirected. So the short end, if you put it on to the bag, and instead put the long end onto the catheter, which does work, because they both fit on there, so it can be confusing. These are our lungs. And I'm going to show you what happens if a clinician would attempt to pull. You would think that the bag is empty, but it's not vacuum packed. So there's actually air in here, even though this is flat. And then, of course, there's air in the tubing. So when I pull back, I can actually pull back 50 cc's of air, and I could potentially push that into the lungs, which you just saw the gurgling there. Now, if I were to try and do it again, it's nearly impossible to pull back any air and push it back in, but it still can happen, just a little residual. And this can actually cause attention pneumothorax, and I actually had a clinician whose fellow hooked up the system just like this, so there's a little bit of concern to that. When you switch it around the correct way, actually I'm going to show one more thing before I go with that. If the fellow or physician is doing this late at night, let's say they punctured the bag on accident, the scalpel hit it or something, or the connection was loose, you can actually push and pull an infinite amount of air in here and keep doing that if the connection's not secure. It still looks like it's on, but if it's not, and you have an untrained clinician doing this, you can inject an infinite amount of air into the lungs. So I hope that helps. You can take a look at home on yours and kind of play with it and put it the reverse way. And my clinician also noted that the valves seem to be one-way valves for liquid, but not for air. So the air can pass through both ways infinitely, and liquid seems to be the one-way valve portion of it. So everybody, the clinician is looking at this. So that's it. Hope everybody is fun watching the basketball games this weekend. We're watching the Badger game this afternoon, and go Badgers!